let's derive an expression for the derivative of the inverse sine x. And the only thing that we know at the moment is the derivative of the original sine. The trick right here is, for any inverse trig functions, they all represent an angle. So I will begin by saying something like let theta equals to the angle that I'm talking about, which is the inverse sine x. And the goal is, if this is the equation, if I can come up with d theta dx, then that pretty much answers the question. Okay, theta is equal to inverse sine x. Once I have this equation, I get to apply the original sine on both sides. So let me do that. I will apply the sine here and apply the sine right here. And this way, the original sine and the inverse sine x, they cancel each other out. And I will just get the original sine of an angle theta. This will be x, right? Just like that. And we can just look at this equation and take the derivative of this, because now I can just deal with the original sine. So I will put d dx across this equation to represent that we are taking a derivative with x, with respect to x. So you just go right here, the derivative of sine is cosine, so you put this down, and then the inside stays the same. However, since theta is a function of x, so we have to use the chain rule, and this is the implicit differentiation part as well. Look inside, the derivative of theta is going to be d theta dx, and that's exactly the part that we're trying to find. And that will be equal to the derivative of x with respect to x is equal to 1. To get d theta dx, I can just divide both sides by cosine theta. So let me go right here. D theta dx will be 1 over cosine theta. But what is theta? We look back to the first line. Theta is equal to inverse sine x. So let me change the theta into the inverse sine x. This way we can write this expression into a more algebraic format in terms of just x. Let me show you. I'm talking about 1 over cosine of inverse sine x, right here. And this part right here can be written in the algebraic expression, but right here, let me just tell you what the answer is. And you can check out the other videos, but here, this is going to be 1 over, the denominator is square root of 1 minus x squared. And that's d theta dx. And that goes right here, if you would like, 1 minus x squared in the square root in the denominator, and then that pretty much answers the question. Finally, the derivative of inverse sine x is 1 over square root of 1 minus x squared. And this right here deserves a box. And this is how you derive the derivative of the inverse sine functions.